Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the public hearings of the TRRC. Imam, you have the floor. If you can offer some prayers, please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Rahmanir Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Allahu allazi ja'ala lakum al-ardha qararan was-samaa'a binaa'an was-sawwarakum fahsanu suwarakum wa razaqakum min tayyibat zalikumullahu rabbukum fatabarakallahu rabbil alamin. Huwa al-hayyu la ilaha illa huwa fa'aduhu mukhlisina lahu ad-din. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina azaban nar. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifuna wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Amen.
Amen. Shukran, Imam Jallo. Bishop, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Lord God of mercy, of grace, of compassion, of love and forgiveness, we continue to bring ourselves under your banner, under your protection, under your direction, and under your guidance. We commit all the witnesses that will appear before the TRRC today, and we ask that by your goodness that you will enable each and every one of them to speak the truth and grant the commission the discerning spirit to discern between truth and falsehood. And we continue to pray for the Gambian populace as a whole and those that are in the diaspora. Give them the spirit of patience and the spirit of love and reconciliation. And also grant that they will allow the due process to take its proper course. This we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Bishop Odeko. Council, are we ready for this morning's proceedings? If you have a witness, let's proceed.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, commissioners and members of the audience. Indeed, we have a witness. Mr. Osa, kindly bring him in, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
I, Wassa Camara.
I, Wassa Camara.
Do swear.
Do swear that
I will speak the truth.
I will speak the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God. So.
Good morning, Mr. Camara. Welcome back to the TRRC.
Good morning.
This is your second trip to the TRRC. You had previously testified about the killing of students during the April 10th and 11th student demonstration in Birkamaba. Do you recall that?
Ina mo ila finti fulan jangote TRRC nyati lingola kato ina tajana num yesede yaro ke talibol la fanyala men ketanum Birkamaba karotil tango anin karotil tan kilim ngamire hakilo ba kanne.
Yes.
And during that time, you provided information about your background.
Potembo ye kibaro dinnale ite fongola kibaro to ite lo mujumati nga yo kibaro fonyen na utumo.
Yes.
We won't go into details about that, but we would just ask you to confirm certain facts, just to put it on the record that it's the same person. But before that, let me give you the usual warning that it is a criminal offense to lie before the commission or to lie on the oath.
Berbitun jannim be fenfen damutala mbe hakilo bulandi la dandala rola ko nyimbanko kan lua balantala le pour ye kuma soto balofo natara ye kali aning ka kuma soto balofo nyin commission o nyaati limula o be mu luwati nyalti.
Today you are expected to testify about the March 2006 aborted Ndur Cham coup d'etat.
Bin lafta CDRO la fanna menna wolem 2006 Ndur Cham la coup d'etat bayringo lafta bi ila CDRO be tilin na wolela.
And your subsequent experiences with the law enforcement agencies in this country.
Wokola ite fangonata menje ye mentak ye melong ining loi tamandi bundalu men yalon ko wolle be nyimbanko kan.
In particular the NIA.
Sako ba fala bunda meye NIA.
The investigations of the crimes you were alleged to have been involved, that coup d'etat.
Ikoy kisi kisiro lu menu ke ka foko ite ku lu men ke wo coup d'etat bayri ngokono.
Your experiences with the judiciary.
Ite inata mem fananje aniye men taki ining kiti bunda la molu tema.
And of course by extension the role of the Ministry of Justice.
Anim fanan ka ko tentendi minister bunda mem marta kito nin tilingula nyimbankun kan ul fanan la lodula.
How the state chose to change the forum of your prosecution from the normal courts to a general court martial.
Anim fanam banko bunda nata ila kito lodula falin nyamin ka bondi banko la tilunin kiti bunda la ka samba bunda to me ya lonko wala keta sojaro la kitindir bunda ti iba flame court martial.
And then your experiences at the state penitentiary system, that is mile to prison.
Andung wabe kola ila jero ning inata men taki yemen je wato men ye samba bankola kaso bumbato ikafada me mile 2 prison.
Seeing that in spite of your incarceration for treason, you have been reinstated into the armed forces.
Be keta andung bring alanata ke okulu be banta inata imurundi ke murundi nang bankola sojaria bundala ke sayindi sojar fano kono.
In spite of the fact that you were convicted for treason.
Andung wanyawnyanding wayatara ye temutale ke kitindi lua ye muta kweyo jamfa jawole ke banko kang.
We would want you to talk about your perception as to the role of the army in a democracy.
Mbelafila fanang ye femfo ye diamu sojar bunda army ila lodula nyanta kala menti banko kang nin demokrasi be sabatirindame.
To put it simply, soldiers and coup d'etats in a democratic society.
Ka sono yandi dorongolem sojarolu inin coup d'etat lanya jama kono banku kang me yalonko wulbe loring demokrasi le silo kang.
And in your closing remarks, we would expect you to at least allude to that particular issue.
Alun ning di amolu be banta silam foyte fongo binela kumo kumfala mbe lafila yewo fanna ma wo dinkira mem fotaten wonya itela jero ni lodula be mem fola woto banko molye isi woto fanna ma.
Before we start, let me explain the fact that even though the hearing we are having is an institutional hearing on the NIA.
Han mbenyin ko indile mako mbe nyin sio mento jan silang do ku bunda kolu no masato le meya lonko atilinta do ku bunda men na ikafole NIA.
The commission recognizes the fact that a lot of the human rights violations happened at the NIA, or the NIA in fact participated in those rights violations.
Commission nata nyin korosiko banko kan hadama dingul la nyanta tinya jawolu ning a kuruyalu men keta nyim banko kan fan kilingu be keta NIA le wala ka foko NIA la molu itella molu ti melnu bulo be wo tajire yalu kono ya menke hadama dingul la.
If you look at the March 2006 coup d'etat or planned aborted coup d'etat, the NIA played a central role in the violations that occurred subsequently.
Neo March 16 coup d'etat jibe NIA iteliye ku jamale tamandi menketa nyanta tinyal nin tajire yati wo coup d'etat bayringo tambiringo kola.
If you look at the 2009 aborted coup d'etat, the NIA also played a central role in the violations that subsequently occurred.
Near 2009 coup d'etat bayringo fanan jube ate NIA kilimulu ya nyong tilimbalia nin tajire ya kilimule tamandi kolu kono bring wo coup d'etat bayringo tambita.
The April 14 or 16 of 2016's demonstrations, the NIA also played a central role in the violation of the rights of those who were apprehended.
April karo tiltang ni nane wala atiltang ni woro kang wo fanan tambiringo NIA ewulu kolu men beketa akono ate NIA kilingulu ninku mu itellem temalang koluti wo nyanta tinyalu kono men keta.
Even the Farafenye attacks, the NIA played a central role in how those apprehended were treated.
Farafenye boyin kandiro fanan kola ye molu menu muta akonyin kola atanyin NIA kilingulu itelle te manka lodula muta akolu kono biring wo fanan tamita.
In order to conduct a comprehensive investigation of the NIA, one would have to look into all these incidents, all these episodes.
Puru mo yekisi kisiri sahari ngoke yekibar sahari ngo sotol no ibe mem buntun na nyin kolu kono woto fo moye nyin NIA o law lotan kangulu ni law ma nyalu jibe nyin kolu men be ketaten itelier ma nyalu men ke wol kono fo moye lu be korosi pour ka ku sahari ngo kumbelno membe lola ko ibarata nyinela.
The work plan of the commission also requires that we look specifically into each of these incidents that I have listed.
Adung commission la do ku fere landiringo wo fana ya nyine londi ko nyim ko lu menu ay nyilu menu be killing foteng commission nyanta juber saharin kelale ko lu menu be keta aning italiye ko lu menu tamandi wol kono pour ka lu be jaba kese woto ay senea ay long.
In order to ensure greater efficiency of the work of the commission,
nyin kamala pour commission la do ko la saha ala barako ning ala yirwa fo nyin ko lu yelo pour ka ay saha.
The commission would look at the issues jointly.
Commission be nyin ko lu be jube la bari ba kala den na quality ke jube.
As we examine the NIA,
woto nimbe NIA la ko lu jube la,
we also investigate their involvement in the various issues that I have listed, which were to be investigated by the commission.
Adun woto fonga nyin kolu be killing kono jube me yalon ko wala kata NIA o la ma nyaluti wo kolu kono me yalon ko commission ñu la ñan tolem ñim fanante pour ka wo kolu be bo nyoto pour ka lankina ma ay senea folu fanal ye jibe.
So on each of those issues, we'd be killing two birds with one stone.
Amunta wolu be kafring nyoma amunta mbe kunufula be fa la bere kilingo la ko mandinka sando ya fo nyaming.
So that way we save time and resources.
Andum wokono ninga ke wonya asinde manga wato soto andum fanang isaje fanang na fanko fanang membe dunna je asekanyang.
So as we wait to hear the witness testify about events at the NIA,
woto wayrimbe batukang pour seedo ayna seedeya kolu fo kolu keta nyamin NIA,
we would hear a lot of things about the March 2006 aborted coup d'etat.
mbe kujama fanam moylale o kono fanam mentilinta March karo 2006 coup d'etat bayri nyinna kolu menu tamata je.
And also the role of soldiers in a democracy.
Aning sojarolu la lo tan kango nyanta kala menti banku kang damenu be loring democracy kang.
And perhaps maybe what must be done to change the mindset of soldiers from coup d'etat to respecting and honoring the constitution of the country.
Aning fanan aseke nse nyim fanan jibe mune nyanta sojarol la miraro anila miralinya falinna pour kabunya di lo tan kangul nin tukungulula men ya lonko wole ba kendila ye nyina kudeta kolula banku kang me ya lonko betama kan democracy lela,
and to respect and uphold the constitution.
anim fanan ka banko la constitutional wole banko sambarang sarti kitabu ba nyinti ka wo bunya ko bunya men nyanta dilala.
On that note, Mr. Camara, are you ready to start?
Mr. Camara, fay paretale bampurka damuta.
Yes, thank you. I'm ready to start.
Thank you very much. You went to Methodist Primary School in Janjambure from 1980 to 1986, correct?
Itata Methodist Karambule to Janjambure kabo 1980 kata 1986. Folemba.
And then to Armitage High School from 1986 to 1991.
Itatanata Armitage High School kabo 1986 kata 1991.
Yes, correct.
You enlisted in the Gambia Gendarmerie in 1992, correct?
Idunta Gambia la Gendarmerie do Kubundala 1992, correct?
Yes, correct.
And after July 22nd, 1994, you joined the army after an amalgamation.
Between 1994 coup d'etat tambirung inatana dum sojariato kato tumo oyo bunda lenate ke kafunyo mapuri ke bunda kilimuti.
When the Gendarmerie was split into two parts, went to the army and the other part went to the police.
Kato tumo Gendarmerie bunda nyen talata fulaleti. Fankilindo woltata sojaria ka kafu woluma, fankilindo nata ka kafu police woluma.
Yes, that's true.
In 1995, you became an officer cadet.
1995 inata makamo soto ikafu me officer cadet.
Correct.
And you were promoted to a lieutenant in the year 2000.
Bitu inatela makamo lafa 2000 sangokono.
And in 2005, you became a captain.
That's correct.
2005 inata ke captain ode.
And in 2017, you became a major.
Yes, correct.
2017 ekata majority.
Correct.
You left prison and earned a promotion.
Bitu inata bokasola palace lafa nata futema.
Yes, that's correct.
What put you in prison?
Mune yedundi kasola.
The aborted coup, 2006 aborted coup.
2006 coup d'etat bayrimo wala mfutandi kasola.
Can you tell us all about it? Everything you know about it.
Foisi femfono nyeje ye ko mem belong akonyinto wo banke nyajambang.
Yeah, it was sometime in April.
March.
Sorry, in March 2006.
Wati sotontanu March karokono 2006.
When I was informed by Colonel Nurcham.
Tumolem Colonel Nurcham na takibaro dinna.
Colonel Nurcham, what position did he occupy at this stage?
Wotembo Colonel Nurcham, palasi jumale babulu wala makama jumale babulu nung wotembo.
He was the CDS of the Gambia Armed Forces.
Otumo atelom Gambia bela sojar kunton koti ikafome CDS.
What does CDS stand for?
The Chief of Defense Staff.
CDS koto menti wolem Chief of Defense Staff wolem bankola kanto nin tankada bunda kuntonko.
After the president, he was the head of the army.
Amonta president kola atelefana musojarol bela nyaton koti.
Correct.
Tonya.
At the stage you were a captain, correct?
Nio botala kola lo inata ke captainoti.
Yes. At the time of the information, I was a captain.
Watu kobe kila tumena ha mu captainole tinu.
And what position did you occupy in the Gambia Armed Forces?
Watumo sila lodula jumale bebulu nun Gambia la sojarolu kono.
As I was the provost marshal, the head of the military police.
Amunta sojarolu fanalu kono. Kantar lalu menuka sojarolu la kulu fanalu no mai ka fole military police. Watumo ontele muol la nyaton kote.
And what is the role of the military police in an army?
Say military police fango ila lutan kamu muneti sojarolu kono.
Among their roles, enforcing discipline within the armed forces.
La lutan kamu kono nyinda bijele puruka kuluwa sabatindi sojarolu kono.
Also, that will be during peace and wartime conditions.
Walem karafulo be nin kairo be kering anin fanam misali kama nin kelo be kering wo wuche fulo be wala muito la lotan kawti.
Then also to conduct VCPs among their functions.
Amunta fananka VCP ta mandi ila do kolu fanalu kono.
What does that stand for?
Checkpoints, making a spot checkpoint at different areas.
Walem kata dinkira to dinkira nin dinkira katu korosirola anin kakolu jube beje tembeda jumaleto.
Looking also at the status of the armed forces with regards to the administration of the personnel.
Anin fanan ka sojaro la kolu jube ka korosi ila kolu anila do kolu lotan kamulu fanalu sambanya.
The impact it has with the officers and men of the Gambia Armed Forces.
Anim fanang ay munesi moluma men yalon ko wollem do kulaluti menu bebe Gambia la sojar bundala.
But of all the functions you've mentioned and those you have not mentioned, the enforcement of discipline within the armed forces would be the most significant. Would you agree?
Ye bundalu menu be foteng hanima menu fo fanang kukilim bijede nga mira wolem kolu be kunton koti menketa kakuluo sabatindi sojarolu kono ngamira womukulu kono kunton kaleti je fonte.
Yes.
If a soldier would have committed a crime, it would be the military police to come and effect an arrest and deal with the person according to military law, correct?
Nin sojaro fananata kuruya kuoke ngamira woto military police wolela do ko munyinti purukata amarimuta ka samba kala kuobo nyoto kana akulu ayo kuruya menke onya ka kulu wokan ngamira folem
according to military
ko sojar luwa ya fanyami.
Correct.
So you would agree therefore that the military police was quite central or would be the unit that would arrest officers if they were involved in a coup d'etat.
Ngamira woto military police ila bunda lebe kala temalankati wala itelebe kala lolaluti nim misali kama ku façon lu keta membe ko misali kama coup d'etat itelle nyanta tala fanan ka molu muta men yalonko wolle dabe o ko nyin kono.
Correct.
Onya.
And you are the head of that body, correct?
Andu itelo mo bunda nyaton koti fonte.
Correct.
Onya.
And you would acknowledge therefore that your role in the army, head of military police, was quite a very important function.
Woto benyin krosi lako ite fangulo dula sojaro law bunda le ka fo bunda me military police woto bunda kulimbale mo do dulati.
Yes, correct.
Onya.
And in fact, it would have been your responsibility to arrest Nur Cham and any of his accomplices in this planned coup d'etat.
Woto silang anyanta kela itele la lo dulati puruka Nur Cham muta aning mo mondin dabula taw coup d'etat bayri ngokono ngamira fabe on nyale.
Yes, that's true.
Muto nyaldi.
he recruited you
bari anate te saba ke dunde akono bang
to be his co-conspirator to overthrow the constitution of the country.
Pro aliye kafu nyoma ka bankola constitutional ye boyindi.
Yes, that's true.
Onya.
What else did he tell you?
Wokola ay muna foye.
You told us he came to you and said, we want to overthrow the government, which means also a violent overthrow of the constitution. You accepted. What else did he say?
Andunga mero wokono ay nyina foye nko. Ko ilafta kama banko yelemandi kama sakunda boyindi kudeta kono. Yo adung wole mnyinti ko banko la constitutional albe ole fango boyindi la wonya. Wobe kola ay muna foye.
Yes, when we met,
Rimbenta,
he said,
ako,
looking at the dynamics of the country then,
wotembo ni ajube kulu menu be larim banko kang.
He said he believed that it was the right moment to, effect changes.
Ako ala foroto ayamira wo wato lem watiti inyanta falingu kela tembo men na nyimbanko kang.
Did he tell you what those circumstances were?
Fay afoyene wo dali lolu wala wo kolu menu nyanta wo sabula ayolu foyene ba.
Yes, he said there was rampant corruption.
Ay nyum fako wotumode nyimbankun kang nakaro nintapalea ay sulodum.
That's what we were also told in 1994.
Ye wale fom fanale nunde 1994.
And that the rule of law was not respected.
Wokola imalu abunya frek.
The governance system, the principles and policies for governing the country was abused.
Amunta maralobe Kenya benya tembo mento utumo. Inyanta tala tarambulolu ning sartolu men aning lo tankankolu menu la banko kang. Amunta ibeulu fanan tinyakan ne utumo.
And there was more inclination to tribal lines.
Andum fanang inata men korosi wala nako ibe kolu samba kan nyamin fanang anin si fatam fanso lebe kering.
So among other things that he has said,
bitun kolu kono ay menu fonu wotembo.
He said to him that was the right moment for him to effect change within the country.
Ako woto bitunga tela jero ni mira roto wo wato le wato ti puru falingu nyanta kala banko kan.
And that he had support from the armed forces.
Andung ako ayo makoyro sotole molu sotontale sojar bunda la menu kafutama.
Who did he say was responsible for this rampant corruption, no respect for the rule of law, principles of governance being abused, and tribalism? Who did he say was responsible for this?
Ala foroto ako woto jumale moti mosafo no wole nyinkolu sababu banko kan wole follow nyin nakaro nin tapale ya jawo membe banko kan imalua bunya andum fanam mararo mantara takan anyama andum fanam kolu belarin si fatam fanso silole kan ako jumale moti.
The former president.
Does he have a name?
Alhaji Yaya AJJ Jammeh.
Atelom president mtinung ikavame Alhaji Yaya AJJ Jammeh.
So when he said it was the moment, the time to effect change, what did you understand him to mean?
Bitun silang wairi ayole foko. Sayin wato len wato ti puruka falingo ke wokolu to banko kan. Itila fahamu roto ala kumoko to munetinu.
That's to overthrow him, to replace him with a civilian government. That was his intention.
Amunta ala jero to kolu fonyamen wala nyintiko. Puruka wo bondije kala mansa kunda boyindi ka bondije kana civilian mansa kunda murundi nanje menu manke sojarti.
In a sense, he was saying you guys should organize a coup d'etat and remove the lawfully elected government of Yaya Jammeh, or the recognized government of Yaya Jammeh, and replace it with another unlawful government. correct?
Amunta silang atela forumu menti wotumo. Yaya jamme menna man sakunda amunta karteo faita atele fasita walla muninkum atelebe maralote nu wotembo puruka wo bondije silo la menni sartolu manta nyola kana man sakunda do fanan sindi me yalonko ila sio ning lua manta nyola.
Yes, that's what he has said.
Ha, ayole fonu.
And then
at this stage, did you realize that what he was telling you was to do something unlawful?
Wotembo, foya korosile ko, abe men fokaye alaftebula la menna, kulo menni lua mantanyola.
At that time, my mind doesn't center to that.
Wotembo den hakilo malo wokanung kaje onya.
I'm not asking about what you wanted.
We would
come to that.
Mina wotole.
My question is, at this stage, you knew that you were being solicited to commit the most heinous crime, the most serious crime under the laws of this country.
Mkama nyininka, wole mnyinti woto, mole benyim fokang iteye puru aliye ku ke banko kang meya lonko, wole mu ku kurunglu be kunton koti mo safo nyaming meya lonko banko balanta kulu men la wo bewole kono.
That's correct.
Umutonyalde.
And for a soldier, this would be the worst crime a soldier would commit.
Alung purka ke soja road. Woto ni mari barata wala. Wole mbaro lube jaumati woto ite yemeluke.
That's correct.
When he told you all this and you realized what you were being asked to do, how did you react?
Sa imbra nyimbe foye. Ite fonga nataje abe memfo kaye alafte dundi la mento. Silang ite nata manyadile.
Yeah, like I said, the kind of support he said. I also, joined him in the crusade.
What support did he say he had?
He said he had support from the Gambia Armed Forces.
Some
of the cabinet members.
Aning cabinet nyaton ko ludulu meni alon ko lem banko kullo alifalti.
And by cabinet members you mean serving ministers of the then Yaya Jammeh government?
Ni ko cabinet wolem nyinti minister lu meni alon ko tumu be minister palasol to Yaya Jammeh la maralo kon.
That's correct.
Wolem to nyati.
And also some Gambians who are also having international appointments out of the country.
And in Gambia dingulu menu dolu be banku nim bankute ma palaso luto ibe banko e bandala.
And
ani
that was it.
And international support also.
Ani banku nim bankute ma bundalu bantalankolu wolfanalu ako wolfanalu be laari ngakane.
Why did you agree to join?
Mone akendi isonta pour kakafuje.
I believe in what he has said with regards to the issue of rampant corruption, poor governance, and then that tribal sentiment.
Nga mira utembo mfana lata melna wole mnyintiko na karoni ntapale ya sulo dum banko kang aning maralinya jawo be kerin nu wotumo anim fanang si fatam fanso betaka nu nyame wotumo banko ka.
Even though at this stage you knew that you were being asked to commit the worst crime a soldier could commit against the state.
Saying wotembo wonyaunyandi nyama ya korosile ko abe mem foke ye wolem pour ka kuke me yalon ko wolem kukurung lube jawmati sojaro semenkeno ala banko kan.
what was your mindset at this stage as a soldier serving in the Gambia Armed Forces?
Wotembo woto ite fangula mira robe lori num munekang ka fo imu soja roleti ibe Gambia la sojar bundala dukola.
My mindset was focused on the constitution of the Gambia.
Wotembo hakilo be lori munekang Gambia sambo Gambia la sarti bukuba memu bako sambaran kitaboti hakilo be lori muleka.
That we have to protect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Gambia.
Ko nyanta Gambia la taram fambulo kantalale anin Gambia banko la dinkiralu be nyanta kantalale.
And I believe the sovereign power lies into the hands of the the people, the citizenry.
Andu wotontelata la ko tembo banko sembo abelarim banku dingulu bele bulokon.
And I also believe that the powers that is given to the government is from the people.
Alulata nyimfana ko mansa kunda sembo wo sembe bebulu banko molle wo sembo di tolula.
And if the same government should turn around to abuse those rights that are given to him by the people.
Niwo mansa kunda kilunata yelema akaw nyantolu tinya nyantolu meni alonko banku dingol leolu chikaya idila.
It means that he has violated the constitutional rights that is given to him.
Amunta woto ay constitutional sartolu tinyale ay constitutional nyantolu fanan tinya ye sembo mendiala.
And has gone against those constitutional rights that are given to him as a president of a state.
Amunta silang ate murutale constitutional e sembo ni nyantolu men be diala amunta ayolu be tinyale ko banko e mendi atela.
And it is the duty of when we look into the aspect of protecting and preserving the territorial integrity of the Gambia.
Ako woto ninga jube Gambia banko kanto aning atankando wo lodula ninga wo jube wotumo.
That the president who has acted in that way, in the manner and way that the former president has.
Ko woto nunto president nying ay manyal nimbaro lumenu ke banko kango tembola.
That he is not fit to be the president of the state.
Woto ate mumbo leti me yalonko nyimanyang purate nyimbanko marakoteke.
In essence, you're telling us that it is your responsibility as soldiers to overthrow what you consider to be a bad government.
Amunta ela jero to kanyina fonyenko woto atelu menu musojaro ti banko kan nyimuala lon kunto duno leti puru mansakunda membe okuru yala aliyo bondi banko kan.
If our duties is in line with what the Constitution has prescribed.
Nin na dokolu anin sartol tata nyola ko banko la sambaran sarto ye mem folem constitution oti.
With regards to the protection and preservation of the sovereignty of the Gambia and the territorial, land space of the Gambia.
Wolem nyinti meya lonko wolem banko la kanto nintanko anim banko tundo be la kanto na la tankada.
And the president has shown to uphold
and president nata nyi yitandiko
those constitutional values.
Wo constitutional la sarta kumalu.
Then the Gambia Armed Forces should step in and ensure that that president doesn't serve as a president of the country.
Ninga jeta wonya woto el telu sojaro la jero munyiriko wo president woto wairi ayo tinyar fasongo ke woto amanke moti menyanta tenten na paruka nyimbanko
especially in the aspect of extrajudicial killings.
Sako fanna me yalonko wole tilinta kula me yalonko kamolu muta la tenke fala mennin sarto manta.
Disappearance.
Kamolu yemandi.
Unlawful detention, arrest and unlawful detention.
Kamolu muta ke sorong mennin sarto mantanyola.
This was happening everywhere. Every Gambian was seeing these things happening.
Nyimbeke kandula belo tadun Gambia dingulu bele baje kanko nyine bekeri mbanko kango tumo.
Mr. Camara, at that stage you were talking to Ndur Cham. You believed it was your responsibility to be the judge as to whether a government was a good one or a bad one, and also your responsibility to remove a government that you considered to be a bad government, even though the population put that government in power. That was the mindset you had at that time, correct?
Wotembo ila miraro ka foko mansakunda membe sirinu wotumo ko ya sata nyami ye silo lumenu bula ye lo tankang lumenu bula aning ibe ko lutamandi kan nyamin woto amunta silang inataje ko sojar bundalom bundati menu si kito nin tonya nin tilingu tamandino ifaye ka foko woto ning ayatara o mansa kunda man sarto lusamba anyama woto nyimwa tella do koleti pour ka o mansa kunda bondije wotembo amunta ila miraro be lori woleka.
Yes.
Do you still hold those views?
Hanim bidung wo jero le be bulu bang?
No.
Ani
we would come to the reason why.
Mina dalilo nyinkanne munanna.
And you will talk some more about this because this is absolutely important. We have to learn from what has happened in the past and ensure that we have an army that is fit for purpose. An army that does not have the arrogance to judge whether a government is good or bad and would make a decision as to the fate of that government. But we would come to all that.
Mbina okanne wairi agbelari ntene ko bunda nying kajube ko mansa kunda men mantara tilindi wallahi mantara tonya ta mandikang ka foko sojarol woto silang etelebe kito tale fangulu bulo kono pour ka mansa kunda bondije ka kolu falin mbina o beto le nyatonto wo miral façon futalaje male nyatonto.
But nonetheless, regardless of how you felt when Dur Cham spoke to you, you knew that what you guys were planning to do was the worst crime a soldier can commit in any democracy.
Wonyonyandi nyama birindur Cham dia muteye amunta ala kumo frinda umunyinati ko alpareta ko menkela wole mkolu be kunton koti memu luati nyati banko kan sai wotembo alpareta pour kawle kenung bitung silandung fa mantara wole nyama alla mira rota telfon la cross road.
Yes.
That's okay. And where did you meet him?
Sai itenate bentamin tole
In Yundum barracks.
Benta Yundum Sojar Cordal to barracks.
Were you alone with him?
Inamo flo da manembang?
Yes.
He had indicated to you the institutions that supported him.
Ayni itandila le fanam bunda lumenu bate fasa kan.
Gambia Armed Forces.
Gambia Sojarolu.
Cabinet members.
Anen cabinet alifalu.
Gambians with international appointments.
Gambia ding lumenu bankunim bankutema palaso lumara.
And the international community.
Anim bankunim bankutema jama molo.
Did he tell you which particular individuals were among, as you call it in the army, those who participated or who have agreed to participate?
Sai, fae molu fananu tolu foyenne. Ayenying bundalu menu be kontiteng. Fo molu sotonta wo bundalu la meni ya lonkate yenying foytu mo mena fae yolu fanalu to foyenne bang.
Yes. In one infantry battalion, which is Yundum Camp.
One infantry battalion, me yalan ko lem sojaro la kordati membe Yundum.
He said, the then Captain Yaya Dabo.
Wotumo Captain Yaya Dabo bije.
Would be responsible for the operations in that area.
Wala be marala kolube tamandola o mafangola.
And what position did he hold at the time?
Wotembo palas jumale bobulu.
Yeah, I was the adjutant, 1 infantry battalion.
Atelom adjutanti, 1 infantry battalion.
What is the role of an adjutant?
Adjutant
in a battalion.
Niko adjutant ala lodla mumuneti battalion kono.
Adjutant is an administrator that assists the CO, that's the commanding officer, on his routine and other administrative, issues within the battalion.
Niko adjutant atelo moti men simbe CO kan wala commanding officer men sojaro law bunda nyaton koti ko lutamando ni ilando la sojar bunda la karola wo bundato.
In a sense, he is the voice and the pen of the commanding officer of that battalion.
Amunta wotok mosafo ko atelo mu wo commanding officer wo nyaton ko kangoning ala kalati wo sojar bunda.
Absolutely.
Ole fangomu.
A very powerful position.
Palasi sembe maba.
Can say it again.
Yes, it's your phone.
And a position that puts him to have information about everything that's happening in the barracks.
Amunta ndum fana wo palasi kilimu asikeno le ko kibaru wo kibar koluto menu betama kan soja.
What is Guards Battalion?
Munem Guards Battalion.
Guards Battalion is at Fajara Barracks.
Guards Battalion will be Fajara Barracks.
That's where you have the Republican guards there. Those that are responsible for presidential, guards.
Wole mu dinkirati menu ya lonko teleka kantaro if presidential guards sojarul men fonka president kanta ibo bundalela.
They are also responsible for guarding insensitive installations, correct?
That's correct.
Yes, Tonyalo.
Another essential and critical unit, correct?
Otofana mubunda kuma baleti me yalon ko fanang ila lodula afata kalam bunda le mujeti.
That's correct.
Mutonyal.
And Alfaba, what was his position?
Alfaba mo abe palas du malto no.
He was a W1.
WO1.
That's Warrant Officer Class 1.
Warrant Officer Class 1.
And what's the role of a warrant officer in a platoon or in a battalion for that matter, or in a company for that matter?
Warrant officer, alodla mumunete platoon kono wala sojar bundala wala bundawo bunda na sojaru la company okono.
It depends on the assignment given.
Atuta do ko le buludrong ibe men dilala.
Like some W1s have special appointments as RSM, regimental sergeant majors of a unit.
Kadu WO1 lu dolu bije ika dinkira dila me yalon ko ka fole RSM wala regimental sergeant major dolu kataraw palaso tamandika.
They, like the adjutant, also facilitate in the ensuring the policy programs of the units are being conducted.
Andum fanan ko bitung kolu belari nyaming ko bitui telefonal kalo kolu kunna menmu kuke taluti sojaro law bundalu la meni alonko ibe loring
responsible for all routines of the the battalion.
Ko battalion nying ila tamandir bunda nyanta kala femfenti wo fanan iteleka across,
especially things that are centering on the issues of the men.
Sako kolu menu denta sojaro lu fanglu kungol la kola.
And he mostly communicates with the adjutant and the CO of the battalion.
Andu jama atelening adjutant wala CO fananka diamu menu be battalion nyinkono.
You would agree another very important position.
Woto ibe sonna ko to fanamu place kuma balet.
That's true.
Tonya.
Who else did he mention?
Ay jumale fanam fokotake.
He talks about State Guard Battalion.
Ay State Guard Battalion o fanana kumo fale.
Who in State Guards Battalion?
Ay jumale fo State Guard Battalion kono.
He talk about Ibulo there.
Ay Ibulo la kumo faje.
Lieutenant Ibulo.
Lieutenant Ibulo.
He also talked about Malafikor, Sergeant Malafikor.
Ay Sergeant Malafikor fanana kumo fo.
Yeah, I think if I don't forget, these are the names that he has mentioned. If there are others, probably my mind may not, recall them now.
Ay nyille fo nimmanyina. Nindol fanal bije da seken hakilo le botela.
And State Guards Battalion, what's their responsibility?
Niko State Guards Battalion. Wallalo la muneti.
They will be responsible for the seat of the governance, the government rather.
Itelle marata.
Yeah.
Itelle marata mansa kunda fango sidula kolu londola.
They guard State House?
Yes.
Itelle ka State House kanda.
They should take care of the police.
Amunda itelle ka mansala korda kanta.
In an event that the coup was successful, nobody should interfere in that place.
Misal kama nin kudeta keta hanfo adunta alota mo manyan soto la mensi kudota mandi woto.
Until such a time that an instruction is given to them to, to allow any other activities different from the coup,
Fo janning kando be dile la ka fo enko woto silang alifalen alenyin kuni nyin ku fanambula aytama je na manke wote itelle marta jela.
Who else did he mention?
Ulbe ko la fa modo fanam fale bang.
For the ministers, he did not mention names, but he said, almost all of them are in support of the coup.
Minister de amanto motofo, barbitung ay nyim foko wolu fanalu bebe kafuring atemale nyim kudeta kono.
Yeah, but amongst the soldiers, who else did he mention? Did he mention any senior officers in the army?
Sojarol la karola, fay modo fanam fole, fay sojar nyaton ka dolu fanam fole bang.
Yeah, by extension, he has mentioned Lantombantamba.
Yo, kako tentendi, ay Lantombantamba tofo.
Ita Singate.
Ita Singate.
Yeah, I think I can recall those names.
Nakilo bulata wolu tollale.
Did you believe everything he said? That all those people were involved?
Foilata lale ay membe futeng ko womolu fanalu be dabijele.
He was my senior officer, so I believe what my senior officer tells me.
Atele munna ke bati na nyaton ko adun lata lale ay kumolu menu fonye wotembo.
I don't expect him to tell me anything that was not true, was untrue.
Manji kinyin nako asikuma fonye wotumo memanke to nyati.
We would come back to some of these names you have mentioned.
In
all this, it didn't seem that he mentioned the NIA. Did he mention any names in the NIA?
No, he did not mention names, but he said NIA is in support.
Fire tofole NIA, bari selo kuhani, aman tofo NIA ulukono bari ayim foko NIA ulufonglu fanalia fasale.
Did he give you information on the operational plans to execute the coup?
Four, ay fero lulanya boye nyotole inyanta tamala menu la purka ukudeta ke.
Yes.
Ha.
Please go ahead.
Asatanye.
That 1 infantry battalion.
Kolem nyindiko 1 infantry battalion.
Where Captain Dabo is at, YMS Dabo.
Damen Captain YMS Dabo Bejele.
Dabo will be responsible for the airport.
Dabo la do ko bekala mende wala kulunti la jirula pour ka automuta.
He will ensure that he bars all the landing and taking off from the Gambia International Airport.
Nyimala do ko ti wotembo ni je ta kulunti la te jila je adun kulunti la te wulila je mensita.
He has to ensure that within 1 infantry battalion operational responsibility area,
abajela loko 1 infantry battalion nyanta kolu tamandila dinkira wo dinkira to membe itolu koto
secured.
Abesi muta ye kanta ye tanka.
And there shouldn't be any intrusion
adun kumanyambola bantala mensi dun nan wolu kono
in that area.
Wotundo wo ma fangulu bela.
That guards battalion
Guards battalion
should ensure stability and calmness within their area of responsibility.
Itel fanalu marta dinkiralu menula tenkunin tanko ye sabati wo mafangulu bela wotumo.
Equally like 1 BN. Like 1 infantry battalion.
1 infantry battalion.
They shouldn't allow any intrusion within their area of responsibility.
Ul fanalu manyan sonna ko kundi na mensi bo bantala kadunnan itellaw dinkira koto membe tel bulu.
The state guard
state guards fanang
should be responsible for the seat of the government.
Wollebe marala man sakunda sidula dinkira lula.
And that, once the operation is accomplished rather,
woto nindo ko keta hanfo ye kolu beta mande fo a lota.
Without any orders coming from the operation commander,
na manke kanti membota operation commander bulu wole mkulu be kunton koti wolu fanal la karola
they shouldn't allow anybody to come into that place.
e manyan sonna mo mondi yedun nango dinkirato
The
military police
I
ko ate fango
should be responsible with the team, with the military police personnel,
atelebe marala military police bundalu bela
to ensure that once the operation is accomplished,
kaje ko nindo ko nyinketa fabanda
that the needfuls are arrested.
bitung di
Needfuls, those that they deem people or important people within our area of jurisdiction who are essential for the operation should be arrested.
wala nyinti ko woto molu men ya lonko ibewo tundola adu wolu molleti men mo kummaluti andu yaje ko wolu bewo dinkiralu to inyanta wolu mutalale.
He has mentioned Edward Singate to me.
Edward Singate tofo
that he should be arrested.
Ko inyanta mutalale.
Yes.
But
then also I should go.
Isn't it ironical that he tells you that Peter Singate is part of the coup and that you should arrest Edward Singate?
Fo nyimanke jakali koti ko Peter Singate be larin kudeta nyimmolu kanne bari ay nyim fanam fo ko isina Edward Singate muta
blood brothers
me ya lon ko mu yele kilimo molleti.
This he said
ayo fo ko
when he realized that Peter Singate and Lantombo Ntamba
Peter Singate ni Lantombo Ntamba
are no longer within his camp or in his camp.
Biraje ko wolu mantara ala campo kono koteke.
So he said
anata fa enko
Edward should be arrested at the completion of the coup.
Inyanta Edward mutalale nin kudeta keta.
When did he say this? Was it at your first meeting or at another meeting?
This was.
I knew for what jumale. Ben follow din kirato ban fo ben dole moti.
No, I think my last meeting with him.
Nyinketana bella bangolti.
How many meetings have you had with him?
Aliye benjelle ketenate.
One in the camp.
Kilinketa kampoto.
One at his residential areas in Bakau.
Do keta ataradula famoti abesiri nun dame in Bakau.
Yes.
You suggesting that there was a falling out?
Yenyum foko kanwali osotonta kuolu konole.
Yes, according to him.
Between him, Langtombong and Peter Singate.
Atenil Langtombong and Peter Singate tema munta kawali onata sotojele.
Did he tell you what that was about?
Faya fwene mune yo sabu?
Yes. According to him, he said initially they were all in for the coup. When it comes to an issue of leadership, who will lead the coup? That's where the problem comes. Him Durcham said once the Yaya's government is toppled, will institute a civilian, government. To him, he said that Lang and Peter are not in for that. So this was what he has said.
Did Durcham tell you which civilian he had identified to be the replacement for Yaya Jammeh, to be the president?
Fatan Durcham ye civilian jumale jube wala men chodi me ya lonko wo civilian men no bine sindi la jumale nyanta kala moti membe sayla Yaya Jammeh la place auto president ya la karola.
On the spot, he did not.
No, amafo.
He said we'll come because I inquired that from him. He said, no, you will come to know when everything is okay.
Did you eventually find out?
Yes, this was my time in jail, when I was in jail. Yeah, come to know that the would-be civilian president would be Aliou Jobe.
Nata lonko tumole ko civilian president me ite lafta sindila wala nyanta kala Aliou Jobe tinu.
After, okay, let's proceed with this meeting. So he was telling you about the individuals who were involved and who was going to do what.
Bitu ngatente nyimbengala otuma bafu wale fokaye molu menu nyanta lola mwenkunna jumale nyanta menkela aningo nyongolo.
Can you proceed on that?
Isitente no wala bang.
I think I last with the military police.
Ngamira labanta military police le la kuwala nu.
The specific task that was given to me
Do ko mem fang chika kadiatela.
So go to the art station at Abuko.
Kata art station oto dame ya lonko jele marta Gambia ni bantala bankolu chokinyolo la membe Abuko.
The satellite art station.
Well, satellite art station o nying.
Right.
Yes, well.
That I should meet with one Mr. Njai.
Koni Mr. Njai do nyanta ben naje.
He should be able. He should give me the fuses.
Wala nyanta fusolu dila atela.
I think to the communication lines.
Me ya lonko wala mu chokinyola silolu kumbendangote.
And that will also bar all communications to and from the country, international and local.
Wala be chokinyola silolu be londi la kebe suki. Kabo banko kanjam fango bang kata bantala banko lukang.
That was the task given.
Ayo do kole dinte kunola.
And what happened afterwards?
Menenata ke okola.
Then on Tuesday, the 21st of March, 2006.
Talata lungu, March karoti lumwani nkilungu, 2006.
Around after Isha prayer.
Biring safo salo botala.
Well, I may say shortly before that.
Nsafo no wati situn ronjani safo salo bekela.
Yaya Dabo, Captain Dabo came to my residence.
Yaya Dabo, Captain Yaya Dabo natan na bungoto.
And said whether I'm ready to move.
Ay nyinin ka fompare tale bang purka tama, purka kolu damuta.
I said yes, but I have to do my Isha prayers.
Nka ha bari fonganna safo salo ke follow.
So I prayed.
Nsalita.
I joined him.
Nka futama.
Then from there, he's supposed to go to the airport.
Atenyanta bola jele kata kuluntila jidulato.
But I told him that no, don't go yet. We have to go to our station and confirm whether the information given was correct or not.
Nka e kanata auto follow de ngata art station ota chokinyola bunda puru nyin kamala kibaro memfota fo allo taliban photo nyalam fonte.
At this stage, where was Yaya Jammeh?
Nyin tembo Yaya Jammeh be mi.
He was in Mauritania. He traveled to Mauritania.
Be Mauritania otumo le ngata mata kata Mauritania.
And then what did you do with Mr. Dabo?
Botumo silang itani Mr. Dabo alnata muneke.
So after that, I asked him to leave.
Botumo le nata fai woto ta follow.
So he left.
Atata.
And then subsequently after that,
Bitum wati situn dorong bili obotala.
I also left.
Mfana mbota je.
I went, out of the main highway, out of the barracks, the main entrance of the barracks.
Ntata ka finti sojar korda bunda ba fangola.
Then I went straight to Abuko.
Ntata Abuko.
I reached in Abuko art station, general area.
Mfutata Abuko art station la dinkira fangoto.
Back of my vehicle.
Ngana moto londi.
At a, a suitable place.
Ngalondi dulato dame ya nyabo.
Then from there, I waited for Dabo's arrival.
Bitu kola long ngambatu puru Dabo financina kafum maje.
When he came,
Biranata.
we've discussed among ourselves.
Nda manglu kachata.
Then I told him that I'm going inside.
Nga fay otumole ko oton tebe dunna konoto.
So I went to the art station.
Ndunda art station ofongo kono.
I found, the soldiers there on guard.
Na sojarol tara menu be kantaro laje.
So I asked about the name of Mr. Njai.
Na Mr. Njai to nyininka.
And they have directed me to his office.
Ye silo itan na katala office oto.
But then also added that Jai must have closed from work at that time.
Bare nyum fanam fanya ko wotembo de njai ajitale do kuola.
But I asked whether was there anybody inside in the office who was manning the office at the moment.
Ngini nkaro ke wotembo fomo be office kono le me ya lonko wotembo wole marta kuola.
Yes, they said the duty, personnel was there.
Iko ha otumo membe duty la do kulanyi wobijele otumo.
So I say okay. Then I left the guards.
Bitum bota kantarlalia.
I went back to the position of Dabo.
Muruta katapala soto Dabo beda.
I told Dabo, but Njai is not there, and the information was that we supposed to meet Njai here.
Nkai ha jande Njai ti jande andu ye kibaro mendin tolula. Wole mun ninjai le nyanta nyojela.
So we were there for maybe a few seconds.
Mbije fo wati sutundorong simili danta.
Then I told him that, look, I'm going back in again.
Nkai woto mbe murula kono to koteke.
I need to see the person who was responsible for communication that night.
Mlafta jela memmarta tukinyo la wolun suto je.
So I went in.
Muruta kono to.
The guards directed me, they took me to where that person was.
And
then I told him that I came to meet Njai. He said Njai wasn't there. But I told him that I insisted that I should talk to Njai. So he rang to Njai, he called him. We spoke. I identified myself to him that I supposed to come and collect something from him. But because of the other guy who was working then, I didn't want to tell him exactly those 3 fusses that I came to collect. So I told him that I was tasked to come and collect something from you. So he said he did not have anything for me, and therefore he doesn't know me and he has nothing for me from Dakar.
Yo andum wairi amantelong woto fentate bulu abe mendilan sako kabonan Dakar.
So I say okay.
Nko woto okay.
Then I left.
Mbotaji.
I joined Dabo.
Ndata Dabo ya.
We were chatting.
Mbedia mukang.
I told him that, look, I don't think there is anything in this school that was based on truth. Because if the instructions given was to go and meet Jai, and Jai should hand over those fuses. And Jai was not in place. So one could conclude that this was not, realistic. So while we were chatting, we saw a flight hovering, going towards the airspace of Banjul International Airport. So he told, that is, Dabo said, Chale probably is the president who has just arrived. I said, okay, then we can go to our respective areas. He left and then went home. I left that position. I went straight to the barracks. So around the airport, Banjul International, airport entrance, I received a call from the duty military police personnel that all should report to work that night. So when I came in, I went straight to military police station at Chindum. Then I was given the information that
ye nyin kibaro dinna jele ko
that Lantombo
Ntamba
has passed instructions
ay kangolu di ko
that wherever Ndur Cham is seen at,
ko ye Ndur Cham je dawoda
he should be arrested,
inyanta mutalale
and that we should be deployed to strategic areas within our location.
oton tella dinkiralu nga janja ngata dinkira kummalu be muta.
Was Langtombong in a position to give such an order?
Tembo du Lantombong fabe lori makamo to le purka o kamfasongo di.
He was the deputy CDS.
Utuma tele simbe CDS kang.
And then you, from the narrative here, what I've given already.
Woto ngaka dia molu men be kijanko wolu be lanya kama.
If we go by what Colonel Ndur Cham has said,
ninta ta silo la ko Colonel Ndur Cham ya fanyami.
with regards to their problems in issue of leadership.
Mentilinta ila nyaton kaya kolula.
So you could say, you can, proudly say that he was in position to give out that, instructions.
Woto mosa fono kotonya aynin lod la sotole purka o kangodi.
Then that was the instruction given.
Bitung atayo kangole fo.
Then after that explanation, I told him to give call to all, the military police personnel who are within military police station, because then it was only one station.
Otembole mkanga nyimfaye komandiro ke military police dinkiralu men bebeje kato tumo korda kiline beje mem ya lonkole be yundum menkata military police wala dinkirati.
Didn't you
All
see
to
this?
report to work.
Didn't you see this as a unilateral change of leadership in the army? Didn't you see this as unlawful usurpation of power?
Foi maje ko nyimu menti otomo meyo kangodi amunta ayo wandi sembo leta sembo kandrong purka otamandi.
Yes, you can say that.
Yes, it's your phone.
Why did the army, why did they follow? Why did they implement it?
Munana sojaro lusonta wala munana ibulata noma ka otamandi.
He was the second in command.
Kato atele simo be nyaton ko fango kan sojar bundala.
But isn't that a problem?
Fo manke kole akoti nungotumo.
If a second in command can just get up and order the arrest of the first in command and it is done, isn't that a recipe for disaster in any force?
Fodum men simbe kunton ko kang. No wulita adrong ay kango di ko woto isi kunton ko muta andung ate simbe wole kang wole matala nyaton kote fo wodung manyi yitandi ko wo ko kola se keno le masiboti.
It depends on the circumstances.
Atutalarin kolu lanya le fanambulu.
And in these circumstances?
Andung kolu be lanya mento utumo nyadi ilem.
Because the allegation given us then was coup d'etat.
Katu ye kumakamo memfunu utumo wolem coup d'etat.
So the soldiers were informed that a coup d'etat was ongoing, that Ndur Cham must be arrested.
Amunda yenyina foko coup d'etat lebe kurukuru kang woto wakamala isin Ndur Cham muta.
Correct.
Tonya.
Proceed, please.
Tenteng.
So some of our, MPs, that's the military police, reported to work that night.
Between MP Oludolo, wala military police, dolu tata do kola wasuto.
I used my own vehicle, Defense, to drop them at the checkpoint.
Ndafanga yana motota Benson tate jindi lanya dinkira luto.
We occupied that strategic position.
Now dinkira kummalu muta.
So when I was coming back to the main entrance,
Rimbe murukan nang kana yundum bunda ba fangoto.
Entrance one, the door was open for me. The gate was open rather.
Between bunda nyimbe ring ya yele.
Then I saw a vehicle on the opposite side.
Between ngamoto jeloring karado fanana.
Full light beaming on me.
Ye lampolu be malaka long kang.
So I asked who was that, driver to that vehicle.
Benyin karo ke jumale benyi moto borindi kang.
Let him dim the lights.
Ay lampolu jindi duma.
So I came in.
Utumole nduntanang.
And then But immediately my vehicle entered.
Bari na moto dunta konoto dorong.
The soldiers in the opposite vehicle, the occupants of the opposite vehicle,
Sojarolu membe moto do nyin kono membe lorin karado nyinna.
came out of the vehicle.
Ibe fintita na moto kono.
Gun pointed at me.
Ye kidolu tilinna.
And the person who was leading the group,
Membe wo kafo nyaton kayala.
Sergeant Gaston Mendy,
Ikafai Sergeant Gaston Mendy.
I was made to understand that now he converted to Islam.
Say ngannata nyum faham sayinde ikatu bitale muslimu le muati.
And then his name is Abdul Aziz Mendy.
Say ikafai na Abdul Aziz Mendy.
Said, sir, we are instructed to arrest you.
Ako akayen sa yanyin kamole dintolu la purunge muta.
So I asked why.
He
Said,
said,
no, the instruction is for you to join us, and then we go to 1 Infantry Battalion anteroom.
Akonye mbitunde ye kango men dintolla. Wole mnyinti ye kafuma ngata 1 Infantry Battalion la dinkirato.
So
ikafuda me anteroom.
I said I had to park my vehicle.
Nko ya limbatu ngana moto londi.
One among them, his baji,
Mo kilimbe kono ikafame ye baji.
said the instruction given was not to allow me to do anything.
Wole ye kango men di la koe kanaso nga kuokundinke.
That if I have to move, it will be based on their instructions.
Koninte be move la nimbe kuokundinke la fanang abetar la lari ite la kango
And
le
if
ka.
I should defy their orders,
Koninge la kango soso.
I should be shot at.
Inyanta mbunnale.
So I said to the sergeant, I will have to park my vehicle.
Nko sajino ye wotonte ben na moto londi lale.
And I parked my vehicle.
Ntata na moto park na
So
londi.
from there, I joined them.
Birio botala lo nkafutema.
Then we went to 1 Infantry Battalion.
Ndata 1 Infantry Battalion.
Were you disarmed?
Fodu yela jorang luta ibulu lebang.
No, I wasn't. I have my pistol with me then.
Hani imanna jorang utade katun nakidindingo bembulu le nungotumo.
So I went to Yundum
Ndata yundum.
at the officers' anteroom.
Official la dinkirato kafuda me anteroom.
Outside of that place,
Wo bungo ye bantala.
there I met Second Lieutenant Bobaji,
Nga Second Lieutenant Bobaji tarajele.
W2 or W1 Jibril Bojang,
W2 o wala W01 Jibril Bojang.
I think W2 Jiba,
W02 Jiba.
and other soldiers.
Anin sojar kotengolu.
Bo told me, Captain Camara.
Bo konye Captain Camara.
I said, yes.
Nkai ha.
He said, you are under arrest.
Akonye ye mutale.
I said, for what?
Nkai purumung.
He said, then you will know later.
Akonye balo nale nyaton.
I think Jibril
Ngamira Jibril.
knew that my pistol was stuck,
Along ko tumo nakido.
you know, at the left side of my waist.
Along ko abem mara karola na belto
Guys
nteoto.
at the right.
Nyadi sorry.
Sorry, I will wait for you.
Akabe mbatula.
Then, while I was talking to the other people on the right, on my right side,
Mbedia mukandoli men bembulu ba karola.
he came to my left and then removed my pistol.
Atenata mara karola ayana kidindingo bondi mbala.
He handed over that pistol to Second Lieutenant Bobaji,
Ayo kidori Second Lieutenant Bobaji la.
who did the necessary NSB.
Me along ko we NSB
He
kulu.
cleared the pistol.
Kido nyi senayandi.
And then from there, you know, he asked me to join the vehicle, the same vehicle that brought me in.
Otumola na tafo ngamuru moto kilingo nyi kono me yen natinu.
So I was in that vehicle,
Mbe moto kono.
driven by, it's a soldier anyway, I forgot his name.
Sojaro le
we
moto
went
borin
straight,
ka
but
nyata tola.
as I don't know where we were going to.
Otembo malon katada mende.
He drove out of Unum Barracks,
Findita yundum barracks.
heading towards the direction of Banjul.
Na ntilimba nyunu mafangola.
And then subsequently, I was ushered into Mile 2 that night.
Ulun sutolem itatan samba samba la mile 2 dorong.
So when I went into their conference room,
Birindunda wala bem bungoto.
I found Captain Yaya Dabo
Na Captain Yaya Dabo taraji.
doing the necessary, process. Yes.
Abe kolu tamande kang.
So things were taken and booked in the inventory book.
ye wotumole ye mari la fengolu ye bondimbulu ye safe buko to nyanta safe la dame.
I found WO2 Koli Omar.
Na WO2 Koli Omar fanantaraji.
Then I was taken to the conference room. WO2 Koli Omar received me.
WO2 Koli Omar wali njia mtata conference room.
WO2 Koli Omar.
That is warrant officer class 2.
Is he known by any other name?
He is called Jagai.
So you are processed and admitted into the prison?
Yes.
We can stop here for now for the first break.
In
30 minutes.
Thank you, Council. We'll take a coffee break, 30 minutes, and come back at 12:05. Meeting is adjourned.